Hey there YouTube, this is SJM4306 back with another review video. This time, I actually did a recent video from the same company that made these, and they enjoyed the first video, so they said they had a new pair of earbuds coming out about maybe a week or two ago, and they said as soon as they got them in stock that they would send me one. And so the brand is SuperEQ, and here it says by One Audio. I guess I guess sort of like audio. Anyway, I really like their funky colors on their boxes, like, kind of this really bright pop. It looks kind of blue on camera, but it's definitely like a greenish color in real life. But anyway, yeah, their other box had some really funky designs on it, and they were sort of like retro, bright pink, yellow, and greens and stuff like that, and they look really nice. Anyway, these are the Q2 Pros, and their mantra apparently is "Be young and be free." These are actually hybrid active noise canceling, and these are true wireless. So each bud is its own self-contained thing, and the case that it comes with actually charges them. Uh, yeah, this kind of style caught on like maybe about 2 years ago or something like that, and I've definitely reviewed a number of these sort of true wireless earbuds in the past. Specifications: the diameter of the driver is 12 millimeters, apparently. Bluetooth version 5.2. Playtime, they specify with ANC off is 11 hours. That's one thing that these earbuds tend to not be so great at is the runtime just on the earbuds themselves usually isn't so great. Usually, most of them that I've reviewed in the past have come in like around the 3 to 5 hour mark. So claiming with active noise canceling off that fully charged set of earbuds will last 11 hours is actually pretty significant. But anyway, here it says if you want to do have active noise canceling, it'll drop that down to 8 hours, and it takes 2 hours for the earbuds themselves to charge. Because they also specify if you take into account the extended playtime by keep putting it into the charging case, you can get off the fully charged charging case, you can get 40 hours total with ANC off and 28 hours with it on. So these are actually pretty interesting. So I'm wondering what kind of like processing they're doing to get like this kind of efficiency, because 11 hours, even 8 hours with ANC on the whole time is actually pretty significant for tiny little earbuds. And thankfully USB Type C, and the battery capacity actually lists as 370 milliamp hours. That's interesting. They have the obligatory touch controls, which I have mixed feelings about, depending on how it's implemented. It says hybrid active noise cancellation. I'm really hoping these have sort of like a bleed through conversation mode that some of the on ear or over ear headphones tend to have. I like that. Oh, yeah, transparency mode. There you go. So, yeah, I think that's one thing that really keeps me from using these when I go out is I can't hear anything. So it's sort of not particularly safe to wear them out. Um, if you're walking around, you're not really in tune with what's going on around you. But if the transparency mode works on this really well, I could definitely see myself using them in that capacity. Anyway, open this up. Very nice, like gold embossing on here. That's really cool. And we have the unit itself, and already I can tell you just from looking, I think they got the charging case design right. They made it fairly thin and like fairly short and squat. One of the other, I forget the name of it. I'll put it down below. One of the other earbuds that's my favorite so far that I've tested. I use them pretty much almost every day because I always have them in my pocket. They have a similar design to the case where it just sort of is like flat and just like really small. Here, let's do the pocket test right now. See, this will even fit. It's so small, it fits in that little coin pocket in your jeans. But yeah, yeah, I could definitely. Yeah, these are no deal at all in the pocket. Plenty of room. I could fit my phone or my wallet next to it. So yeah, I really like the design so far. And we have, interestingly enough, the Type-C ports right on the back there. Uh, don't really know why they didn't put it on the bottom. It doesn't really functionally matter, I don't think. but I would have liked to see wireless charging. I know there's really not that much room to shove it in there, but if they could put like a coil on the bottom so you just set it down on a wireless charger, that would be fantastic. Anyway, the magnetic lid, that's interesting. Yeah, so there's a magnet in the lid clearly, and it detected when I opened and closed it, and it's showing full battery life. But there's also a second detent where it sort of snaps open to keep the lid open so it's not trying to close on you while you're taking out the buds. So I like that attention to detail. We have the buds themselves, and these are going to be of the style that stick out of your ear, but I think if you have a touch sensitive button on the end, you kind of have to design them that way. Otherwise, when you go to adjust it, you'd be constantly triggering the button there. So I think that's acceptable, though these will stick out a little bit from your ears. They'll be visible from the front if you're looking for it. But yeah, we have the contacts. There's just two metal contacts on there, and that's how it gets its charge. And these will all come with this protective film on here. So let me just take that off. And as soon as I put them back in, it starts charging that one. And same for this one. Yeah, so it'll first show you the charge of the battery case, and then each one gets its own indicator. So that's actually pretty nice. And they do a soft fade. That's a really nice attention to detail there. It looks pretty slick. So yeah, let's put those aside and see what other goodies we get. We have other tips. And it looks like we have 4 in the bag here and then 2 on the player. So it's going to be your obligatory small, medium, large deal. We have the world's tiniest USB cable. Let's just rip this open. Yeah, well, it's tiny, yeah. I guess it's like maybe 5 inches. At least they give you a cable, so I can't complain about that. And it does come with, like, I love these little rubber band thingies that they come with, so that it's not just flapping in the breeze there. You can actually wind it up, stick the rubber band on, and it's kind of a small, neat, efficient way to store them. But yeah, it's a USB-C cable. I'm starting to get more and more of them, and I'm happy about that. We had the user guide. And apparently, that's interesting. Each earbud capacity is 55 milliamp hours in each one, the left and the right. So that's interesting. Yeah, and they tell you the testing conditions are tested at 50% or 70% volume on the first 2 tests and 50% with the last one. That's interesting. Like, nice infographics, like, you know, very clear text. Pretty small text, but it's pretty readable. Yeah, they did a pretty good job with the manual, I'd say. This is one thing that always ends up being kind of irritating, is every earbud does this differently in terms of how many clicks you have to do, and so you kind of have to memorize in order to be able to go through. Let's see. So play pause is 1 click. 2 on left or right side will previous or fast forward, or next track rather. 3 is a voice assistant, and if you hold, I guess, for 2 seconds, you toggle ANC. So yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any way to change the volume. Yeah, I guess the only way you could do it without digging out your phone is pulling up the voice assistant and telling it to change the volume. But yeah, I'd like to see on earbuds, especially like the true wireless earbuds, the ability to control the volume on the earbuds themselves. That's really useful in general. Yeah, it doesn't look like you can do that, unfortunately. Like a warranty card, I guess. Oh, cool! And they actually reprinted the cheat sheet, so that's actually, at least I'm probably going to lose a manual, but at least this I can keep in my wallet or something like that if I absolutely need it. But yeah, it doesn't seem like it's too unreasonable in terms of like the the different functions and clicking and holding. And it's sort of intuitive from what I've seen in other headphones, so I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. These are sitting here charging. Once they're charged up, I'm going to actually run these through a few tests. I'll give it about a week and a half, and I'll get back to you guys on my findings. Okay, so it's been about, I would say, just under a month since I filmed the unboxing portion of this video. And so here's everyday use for about like 3 weeks or so, maybe a little bit more. I think these are really a good value. They're not perfect. There are several things that I don't enjoy about them, but I think for the most part, for every point that they hit on the checklist of things that I want to see in true wireless earbuds compared to the price, these are definitely a good value. Now, I say that because as of right now, I was notified by the representative from the company that they are running a sale. So I believe the regular retail price was somewhere around 50 something bucks, and they're running a 20% off sale apparently till December 1st. So as of the point of me filming this, I just checked on the Amazon store and it's currently listed for like 28 bucks, something like that. So for under 30 bucks, fantastic deal. Like, so in a heartbeat, I would get another pair of these just as a stocking stuffer gift. For under 30 bucks for, what you're getting, definitely 100% worth it. For the original price of about, I think it was like 50 or 60 bucks, I would still say it's a pretty good value in that case, but definitely for the 30 bucks, no questions asked. So things I really, really like about it. The fact that there's like a plastic catch on the lid so it doesn't keep trying to shut while you're pulling the buds out. They really actually thought about like the use case for this, and that's fantastic. The fact that they designed the case to be kind of wide and stout, so when you put it in your pocket, it doesn't take up a lot of room. It doesn't make your pocket bulge awkwardly, and I think that was the right choice to make instead of making it like really thicker or whatever. It's a pretty decent size to battery ratio. Um, Obviously, they could have made this significantly larger and stuck a much bigger battery in it. But actually, that brings me to my other point. The battery life on these are absolutely fantastic. So most wireless earbuds you're gonna get expecting around like 4 to 6 hours, 6 hours being on the longer end in general. These, they specify them at 10 hours. I actually haven't been able to run these down, which is that's pretty significant. Wearing them over the course of most of an 8-hour workday. Of course, I'm listening to a mix. The tests that they do, I think they specify like 70% volume, something like that, with ANC off. And I was running this kind of switching between ANC and ambient mode. Uh, so the different noise isolating modes I was switching between depending on the environment. If there's some noise going around while I was working, then I would turn on the ANC. If not, then I would just turn it off. And listening, I say I would listen to it at probably below 40% volume because for the most part, if I was in, a quiet area, if there wasn't much going on, I really didn't need to pump the volume up to get kind of a loudness that was sufficient for me. And under those situations, with a mix of listening to music and like streaming web radio and watching like the occasional YouTube video and whatnot, I was listening to this for, at one point, I started keeping track of it for, I think it was 4.5 hours of the mix between, music and YouTube. And these guys only dropped 10%. So they were at 90% after 4 hours of the type of listening that I was doing. That's insane. So I could easily see this lasting well in excess of the 10-hour mark that they specify. Now, I'm sure if you actually pump up the volume and turn ANC on and whatever, then yeah, you could probably get the battery life to, just for the buds to be below 10 hours. But in my use case, I can easily see this lasting like 15 hours easy, which is insane. That's like without even the charging case, just for fully charged buds. That is absolutely fantastic. I've been waiting for this for quite a while. A lot of the other buds, after around like the 4 hour mark, I'll usually have to recharge them anyway because they're starting to get low. And just, I cannot listen to these for more than, you know, 4 hours or so anyway, because my ears start getting a little bit, itchy and uncomfortable just because of the way that they seal against your ear. So I'm gonna have to take them out anyway, and you usually plop them in the case just to kind of quickly top them up. So yeah, even worst case situation where my battery case is dead, I can easily see these lasting for like an entire day. The touch sensing, for the most part, it works. They were smart about it. They limit it just to this little area that's like, surrounding gold. So if you're adjusting it from the sides, it's pretty unlikely for you to accidentally trigger that. There are a couple of earbuds I've tested before where, the entire surface was touch sensitive, and you just try to adjust it in your ear and you'd be like skipping tracks and stuff like that. So that part I really liked. For the most part, it's pretty sensitive when you got it spot on. It is a little hard though, because you can't see your ear when you're pressing, so you just kind of blindly fumble and you might accidentally, get off to the side, but it won't trigger unless if it's like dead center anyway. So that was fine. The indication, there's like, the little flashing LED there. It's not really that distracting. Some of them, will have like most of the earbud glow, so it's like a beacon out of your ear. But that's fine, it's subtle. The pairing on this is probably the best I've ever tested so far. A lot of times I'll have trouble. I use multiple devices, so I'll be switching between my laptop and my phone and my tablet. And usually it'll take, a couple tries to get it to pair if it's been paired with one device to switch to another. These pretty much work the first time. I think maybe once or twice it took me, a second go to get them to repair to a different device. But as soon as you take these out, they pair to each other, and that happens instantly. I've never had a case where one of them dropped out or anything like that. It just instantly pull them out, they pair together, and then usually within about like 4 or 5 seconds, if I leave Bluetooth on the last device that was paired, it'll just pick them up pretty quickly. So I'm very happy with that. One thing that I think could be improved, I think these are, let me check. It says Bluetooth 5.2, and I think I read somewhere it's supposed to have greater range than 4.0. I really haven't noticed. I have the standard test of within my work building, I leave my laptop on my bench and then I walk away and I see at what point they drop out. These drop out at probably around the 40-foot mark if there's no obstructions, no walls, nothing like that. And another test I do about maybe 20 feet away from my desk is a restroom, and usually almost all the time with every single pair of headphones I own, if I go into the bathroom with the headphones on and playing music, they will cut out as soon as I shut the door. There must be like lead paint on the walls or something like that, and all the concrete and stuff. These are no different. They did not work in the restroom. So range is mediocre. If you're gonna use this like with a cell phone or MP3 player that has Bluetooth and the device is in your pocket and you're wearing these, you'll have absolutely no trouble. The signal never broke up in that case, only when you started walking away from the device and got a little further out that these had trouble making the connection. So yeah, I really like the USB-C on here. I really wish, though, I think I'd mentioned this before, that they put a wireless charger coil on the bottom, so you could just set it on, a wireless charging pad and have it charge. That would be really nice. My phone, it's a Samsung Flip 3, has the ability to actually transmit wireless power as well, and that would be really cool in a pinch. But like I said, because the battery life on this to begin with is so long anyway, I don't really see that as much of an issue. I just throw this on charge at the end of the day. Usually, I'll have like two notches left out of three after one workday, and I'll just charge it for like not even an hour, and it fully tops up. So yeah, I think basically in summary, great thing about this: amazing battery life, the best I've seen. The value, at least at the $28 price point, is fantastic. At the 50 or 60 price point, I can't quite remember what it was originally. I would say it's an okay value at that point. Additionally, one thing that I thought was not quite as good was the active noise canceling. It works, it definitely does. but it really struggles with higher frequency stuff. It'll take low frequency whine, like if you have a fridge running in the background or like some relatively slow machinery. It'll take that out, like an AC unit or something. It'll take that noise completely out. You won't even hear it. Human voices, things that are higher frequency, like drills and that kind of stuff, you can definitely still hear them. They are a little bit muffled, but these are nowhere near as good as the other pair of true wireless earbuds I've tested, the Boltunes. Those are probably the best active noise canceling I've tested on TWS buds yet. These are probably, about in the mid range for the noise canceling. I actually really do like, though, the Boltunes do not have, these have a transparency mode, and that is fantastic. Usually, when you can actually switch between active noise canceling, transparency, and just turn off noise canceling completely and just rely on the passive noise canceling. There is a significant difference between all the three modes, so I can definitely tell it's working. But having that transparency mode, it just boosts. I've noticed, like, people, the vocal range, so I can hold a conversation with someone with these in my ear, with the music playing on a relatively low volume, which is great because I've had situations before where you'd have to fumble with your earbuds. Someone's trying to talk to you and they don't realize that that you can't hear them. That works pretty well. One thing that I didn't quite like was some of the gestures for, like, changing tracks works fine. I've noticed on certain devices the play pause doesn't actually work. I'll tap it to try to play pause the source so I can pull them out, and it doesn't detect it correctly, or instead it'll skip tracks or something funky. It'll, like, detect the wrong function that I wanted it to do. So that could use a little bit of work on. In terms of, like, the actual fit and the shape of the buds and everything, they stick out a little bit, but not too much. I would say they go to about here once they're in your ear, and so the rest of this is going to be sticking out a little bit. You don't look kind of silly. Some of the earbuds I've tested are pretty thick, so they make you look kind of a bit silly while you're wearing them. These, not really an issue for me. They're pretty comfortable. They're pretty light. And also, on the topic of sound quality, I'll be honest here. So these are kind of your run-of-the-mill bass-heavy earbuds, and depending on what you listen to, that could be a good or a bad thing. I listen to a lot of, like, rock music, action movies, that kind of stuff, like videos that kind of have, like, you know, sort of leaning towards the bass heavy end, and I enjoy these type of headphones because they sound fun to me. But I definitely recognize that if you were to listen to things that are a lot more subtle in terms of how they're presented, or, high end as well as a low end, these do muddy out the high end just a little bit. I would still say that there's still plenty listenable, but definitely if you're into, like, classical music and whatnot, it's possible that the bass is a little bit too overpowering for that kind of genre of music. But overall, I find them kind of easy enough to listen to. They're not so bass heavy that, like, bothers my ears. Like, some headphones are so accentuated that, after like an hour of listening to them, I kind of get like an ear fatigue of sorts. Nowhere near that bad. Not totally unbalanced. You can definitely hear mids and highs, but definitely the bass has significantly more emphasis than the higher end. So just something to keep in mind. So yeah, overall, actually very happy with these for like under 30 bucks. Go out and get a pair of these, even if they're just as like a stocking stuffer gift or something for a relative. Yeah, anyway, once again, huge thanks for SuperEQ for sending me the Q2 Pros in for review, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.